This video gives a quick overview of the main differences in Wotja between Lite and Pro feature modes. There are two Wotja app variants per operating system: a free app operating by default in Lite mode and a paid-for app that always operates in Pro mode. Some of the free apps have an in-app store in which purchase of a feature set subscription allows the app to operate in Pro mode. It would probably help if we explained our terminology. A feature mode in Wotja, also referred to as a feature set, simply refers to the particular set of features and capabilities that it will operate with. Easily put, Lite mode has a number of feature restrictions when compared to Pro mode. In Lite mode you can do most things for free, including saving mixes, but there are some feature restrictions. On the other hand, Pro mode has no feature restrictions and is great value, but there is a small cost. This video should help you decide which one is right for you. Let's go. First up, we have the free app Wotja. It operates by default in Lite mode and it gets all relevant updates on an ongoing basis. For any version of Wotja, you can see what feature mode it is in on this button here. Remember, you can use Wotja in Lite mode for free, and some versions have an in-app store where, with a feature set subscription, you can extend it to operate in Pro mode. This is the in-app store in the iOS version. Next up is the paid-for Pro app. In 2020, this is Wotja Pro 20, and it always operates in Pro mode. It has no feature set restrictions and no in-app store. It gets all relevant updates that we make available during that calendar year, i.e. in this case 2020. Okay, so on the left we have the free app in Lite mode, and on the right we have the paid-for app with its Pro mode. We're now going to show some of the feature restrictions in Lite mode, some of the main ones, when compared to Pro mode. We do need to emphasize that this is not about showing features or capabilities. There are literally hundreds in Wotja, but just about the main features that are restricted in Lite mode. If we don't mention it, then it may well not be restricted. The differences are of course subject to change, so for current details always refer to the feature set table on our website. There are 9 things we're going to show, and we will start with the main ones. The first is Auto-timeout. Let's load the same mix file into each app. Remember, we have Lite mode on the left. Lite mode has an auto-timeout. When we press the play button, notice that the time counter below it counts down from the auto-timeout value. Once 0 has been reached, Wotja will stop playing. To start it again, just tap the play button. It's that simple. Pro mode, on the other hand, has no auto-timeout at all. That means it can continue to generate music until you stop it. So that it plays a different set of cells in the mix, I will lock this column here. When I press the play button, notice that the time counter below it goes up from 0. That is a visual indication there is no timeout. It plays until you stop it, that is, unless you have set up a sleep timer. To set the sleep timer in either mode, just tap Settings, tap the General tab, and then tap the sleep timer control and choose the time you want. It's that simple. Okay, we're going to now talk about track editing. Lite mode allows editing of cells in track 1 only. These are the cells in track 1. This means that in track 1 you can edit any cells generators, edit their sounds, edit their cell effects, edit cell rules, edit track effects. We can edit effects in there if we want, and we can change and use the solo and mute buttons. Lite Mode still therefore provides a massive level of capability, as even one cell can be a generative piece in itself. What you cannot do, however, is to edit cells in any other track. If you wish to do that, you would need to get either a Pro S subscription or a Pro app. Pro Mode has no such restrictions. It allows editing of cells across all 16 tracks, making it much easier to create and edit mixes. Next up is item 3, MIDI Channels. Lite Mode supports MIDI in-out on MIDI channel 1 only. Here we see MIDI channel 1, and in the settings we can see we have a number of different MIDI input and output settings. These are common to both. Pro Mode supports MIDI channel in and out on all 16 channels, i.e. full support for multi-channel MIDI in-out. And of course, in both we have support for Ableton Link. Next up, we're going to talk about number 4, recordings. Lite Mode allows only short recordings which are licensed only for personal use and records to WAV and on iOS and macOS to Video 2. Pro Mode has no such restrictions on recording and can export mixdown recordings as WAV, MIDI and video on iOS and macOS. In Pro Mode, these recordings can be used for commercial use as well. Next up is number 5, in-mix randomization. This relates to powerful features that are really useful when creating mixes and that are not available in Lite Mode, where the relevant buttons are grayed. In Pro Mode, you can select the dice button in mix editing with its various randomization options. In the ISE network editor, there is also a dice button which allows a lucky dip selection of the sound or FX preset as relevant from all the included templates. This is really useful and fun. We're going to come out of that now without saving. Next up is item 6, exporting and merging of templates. These features are not available in Lite Mode. In Pro Mode, you can export a cell as a template, which you might want to do if you have made changes to the cell and then want to use that changed version as a new template. Simply select the cell you want to export as a template, tap the toolbox icon, select Export to Template, and then name the template. I would, for example, name that My Template, but I won't here. So if we tap on a cell, like so, then our template would be in the Saved Files pack. So I would choose my template and load it into the mix. The other thing we can do, which is very, very useful, is to merge a template into a cell. So I could, for example, go into my saved files, select my template, and then select Merge. Merge will allow me to add that template to the template that is already in the existing cell. Very, very useful. Next up is exporting a flow mix. Lite Mode allows export of a flow mix to a box only. In Lite Mode, we're going to come over to the left here. If we go into Flow Mode and we go into, say, Ambient Strings, what we'll notice is when that's playing, we can export, but to a box file only. We can't export to a mix file. So if we come out of here, if we go into the Pro app and we go into the same thing here, we create a mix, and we'll notice we can export it to a box file or a mix file. Exporting to a mix file is very useful if you want to later edit that mix. Next up is the Openable Files number. Notice how in Lite Mode, the 6th file here, my template, if we try to open it, we can't open it. So in Lite Mode, you can only open the first 5 items in the document screen. In Pro Mode, there is no such limitation. That just about wraps up the main feature differences at the time of making this video. There are a few others too, so if you are interested, we recommend referring to the feature set table on our website. We hope you found this video useful. Best wishes from us.